Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman. All right, a lot to discuss this week. First, I want to shout out all y'all who watch, who like, who comment, and those who subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Help me get there, please, man. We're gonna make this push to 100,000. But it's a lot going on this week. All right, I want to talk about these Wale freestyles. I'm definitely gonna do a video about Wale's freestyles. I want to talk about this new Bad Bunny music video that he dropped. Something just really interesting, a nice like tidbit, man. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Clips album is coming out this week, so there's going to be a lot to discuss there. You could also catch me on Apple Music, Rap Life Review, I think the show is called. I'm sorry, with Nadeska, Ebro, Eddie, Low Key. I'm going to be on there this week, man, so I'm going to be a guest on there this week, so please check me out, and if y'all haven't, please check out my Drink Champs episode. So yeah, check for all of that. But today, I want to talk about this, apparently there's a debate about U.S. rappers versus U.K. rappers. And I had no clue that this was a thing. All right, this began last week. Legendary MC from the UK, Skepta, went on Twitter to engage with his fans, and he said, I want to clash an American rapper anyway. Finally get this UK-US rap debate sorted. And I was like, what debate? I didn't know that. Not even trying to be like funny. I mean, it's a little bit funny, like not dismissive of what's going on in the UK because they're doing their thing. I just didn't know there was this competition. I was just unaware. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention, and if I'm not, please tell me if this is a thing. But it all kind of stemmed from an interview actually that he did with Ebro on Apple Music, and was asked if he was able to enjoy Kendrick versus Drake as a fan of hip hop. And Skepta was hesitant to say yes. He said there was one Kendrick song that came out, and when it came out, he realized that it wasn't about a rap beef anymore, that he realized that those two just don't like each other. He didn't say what song it was. I'm assuming Meet the Grams, but that is just my assumption. Because a lot of us felt, when Meet the Grams, came out, a lot of us was like, oh, wow, like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming Meet the Grams, but he didn't say which song it was. He went on to say that, talked about his own history and said that, when he was battling or clashing, as they call it in the UK, that, back in the day that he never had nothing to lose, and the people he was battling against never had nothing to lose. But, he did in a roundabout way. He was choosing his words very carefully. You could tell he wanted to get his point across, but maybe didn't want to offend anybody. But he did talk about how Kendrick and Drake can say those things about each other while both signed the UMG. It starts to mess up the business, right? And this is a lot of what Drake is saying in the lawsuit that he has against UMG. And this is a direct quote from Skepta. He says, so when we're saying these things to each other, you can call me anything in the world. I'm not going to lose a Nike deal. Talking about when he was clashing back in the day, there wasn't this much business on the line. And again, this is just my assumption reading into what he says, is that if, and again, I don't believe it. I don't think any reasonable person believes it. But if anyone were to believe that Drake was a pedophile, or if anyone was even to believe that Kendrick was a domestic abuser, what type of deals would they lose? You know what I'm saying? Like what type of business would they lose? So he was like, the battling, when you had nothing to lose, you could take the gloves off. But he seemed to be uneasy with this much business on the line. He says it's hurting what we've built this whole time, was a direct quote from Skepta. He said that he also felt because of the battle, that doors were shutting on all the other artists waiting behind Kendrick and Drake. This is just his opinion, his perspective, and it's all good. I'm not even here to debate that. Skepta is a vet who's accomplished a lot, so I mean, he has the right to his opinion and to see things through his POV. I'm sure things that he has been through has shaped how he sees it. So not even here to debate that. So then what happened was a Drake fan account tweeted the video of him and Ebro talking, and then another fan with about 325 followers quote tweeted that Drake account and attacked Skepta and basically said, of course he feels this way because he's a British MC and he's not a Black American, and it's our culture and it's our shit, etc. I'm paraphrasing, right? And you see a lot of this. I know I see a lot of this on social media now, particularly when talking about the origins of hip hop and who started it and where did it start and who's responsible and which black people are responsible specifically. I'm gonna say this because I just see a lot of the sentiment when it comes to hip hop. I'm an '80s baby from Brooklyn. I grew up squarely in the era when hip hop exploded in New York City specifically, and became this national, worldwide phenomenon, this national and then worldwide phenomenon. And in our communities, in my community for sure, there were also Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinidadians, black people from the Caribbean, and all over, including black Latinos, black people from Puerto Rico, Panama, DR, contributing. You know what I'm saying? Was hip hop birthed in the U.S.? Absolutely. But this stark division of it being a black American thing solely created by black Americans, you just can't convince me of that because I know what I saw with my own eyes, what I experienced. Not to mention DJ Kool Herc, who was of Jamaican descent. I believe he was born in Jamaica. He's definitely of Jamaican descent. I actually think he was born in Jamaica and his family migrated to the U.S. when he was young. Don't quote me on that. I should have fact-checked that before. But I know what I saw with my own eyes. I know what I experienced. And I'm just saying you can't convince me otherwise. Also, in terms of just British MCs, Slick Rick from the UK, residing in the Bronx, is one of the most influential MCs ever. Dropped the show on Lottie Dottie with Dougie Fresh in about 85, 86. They dropped that as the Get Fresh crew. And then he dropped the classic album, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, a few years later. I think in 88 that came out, if I'm not mistaken. Changed the game. Great Adventures of Slick Rick changed the game. Ask Nas. Ask Andre 3000. Ask Ghostface Killer. Ask Jay-Z. We can't ask Biggie, but Biggie was inspired by him. Hypnotized. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. Straight, draw a straight line to Slick Rick. That's what inspired him to do that. So, what are we talking about here? Yes, we know where hip hop came from, but to act as if there are no other contribution, I've seen a lot of people contribute to hip hop. So I just don't understand that logic. But that's a tangent. The actual point is how, it's funny how that comment got Skepta to respond. Someone with 325 followers got Skepta to respond, and then led to this whole UK versus US battle thing. Is funny because you see it a lot of the fan accounts or the smaller accounts egg things on. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like the rappers or whatever don't even have beef, but it'll be like the fan army's going at it, and then the rapper weighs in, and then another rapper jumps in, and then all of a sudden there's a beef. And look, I'm guilty of it too, falling for the rage bait. If you see me on Twitter, you've seen me do this too. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely got hit up from some of y'all too. Rob, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But so Skepta responded to it, right? I put the tweet up now. And you can see the original tweet, right? Skepta, a British MC, of course he feels this way because he's not black American. No matter how mad y'all get, it's our culture and our shit, and we taught y'all that. You can keep crying from the outside. All right. So Skepta responds, clashing, battling as we know it today comes from dancehall culture, where people tell each other to suck their mothers and nobody gets hurt. That battle, he's talking about the Kendrick and Drake battle, hurt people and hip hop. You can deny it if you want, but it's the truth. This is old news now anyway. Nobody's crying. You just want to say my name, you itch. KMT. Again, I don't believe, did the battle hurt people? People got hurt because of the battle. Did it hurt hip hop? I'm not ready to say that. So I don't, again, like I said, I don't all the way agree. I get where Skepta's coming from. I don't all the way agree with him, but I respect his point and his position because everything that he's done, he even when we don't agree with people based off of what they put into the game, when they talk, you have to listen consider it at least. You know what I'm saying? And then his next tweet was, so again, he's going off with his fan tweet, 300 followers, right? And then it leads to this. I want to clash an American rapper anyway. Finally get this UK versus US rap debate sorted. So I'm wondering if we don't get that tweet about Black Americans versus British contributions. Like, if we don't get that tweet, does Skepta go here? Because going from Kendrick versus Drake hurt the game to now I want to clash UK versus US, it feels like a big jump to me. I'm just like, how do we get here, right? And then he says, he thinks him and Rocky will be a fire battle. He says no violence, just bars, punchlines, and counteractions. Of course, Skepta and Rocky are friends. They got joints together like Praise the Lord. They work together. Then he listed some other battles he thought would be good. Eminem versus Getz, Chip versus Kendrick, Dave versus Lil Wayne, Blade Brown versus Pusha T, Queenie versus Meg Thee Stallion, Central C versus Jack Harlow. And then so Joyner Lucas entered the chat, right? And he said, the moment I've been waiting for, devil emoji, say the word, Joyner Lucas versus Skepta, hashtag UK versus US. Then Skepta dropped the video response to Joyner. Check the video.
Hey, Jonah, I wasn't even gonna reply, but sure, I'm a rapper's rapper, you get me? I'm gonna honor, I'm gonna respect the fact that you stood up and said something, the first man, you get me? But this is just another example of the ignorance. If you was from the UK, Jonah, yeah? Jonah, if you was from the UK, fam, quiet, bro. Understand? But you make up the numbers out there and I respect it. So when I drop my diss track for Rocky, I'm gonna give you 2 bars and then make one of the young Jesus rub you out. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do all the work that I did for Joyner Lucas to be saying my name anyhow. You know what I mean? I got diss tracks on YouTube with 30 million views, no ad-libs. It's levels, bro. But we're working. Trying to know.
So again, remember I said respect Skepta for all the work that he put in, but he says that I didn't do the work that I did for Joyner Lucas to be saying my name, and talked about how he got a diss track on YouTube with 30 million views. I mean, Joyner definitely has joints with tens of millions of views. He has a few over 100 million. Like Joyner is not like a household name. He's not the biggest star, but over the years, Joyner has proven that he knows how to go viral, and he could rap. Joyner could rap his ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of every single thing he's done, but Joyner could rap his ass off. It's just no question. But this is why I don't subscribe to the numbers debate and rap battles. I was talking about this on Drink Champs a bit. Just like the Billboard chart doesn't decide who's dope. You could be dope and top Billboard, but just because you top Billboard don't mean that you dope. And my whole point being there was like a lot of fans use that. Oh, it's on the top of the Billboard. It must be ill. It must be dope. Oh, my guy has more hits than your guy. That means he's a better rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the point I was getting at. But that's why I don't subscribe to the numbers debate in rap battle. Skepta said he wants to battle the USMC. Joyner stepped up. Rocky didn't say nothing, right? Not to my knowledge. And Joyner can definitely rap. You can't ignore him. You know, that's kind of like, Joey earlier this year, Joey Badass wanting smoke with Kendrick, right? But when Ray Vaughn and Daylight and AZ Chike want smoke, then he doesn't engage because they're not Kendrick. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Joey had to engage with all of those guys or some of them. I mean, he couldn't battle 7, 8. A lot of West Coast MC says something, but he took on quite a few MCs. Though it seems like the battle he wanted was Kendrick, which he didn't get. And we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Kendrick. I said this before. I could still see Kendrick throwing like a light, not like a diss track, but just like a little like rib shot, a little elbow shot, a little. Jay-Z, you only get half a bar, like you know what I'm saying, like type shit. We'll see. I don't know, but that's what Skepta said. He said he might give Joyner like 2 lines or something. But those are just my thoughts. I want to know what y'all think. I thought this was interesting. One, do you think Skepta should battle Joyner now? I actually think that that's a more interesting battle than Skepta versus Rocky. I just don't know Rocky to be like a combative MC in that sense. So, but do you think Skepta should battle Joyner? Are there any UK versus US MCs that you're interested in seeing? Any matchups that you're interested in seeing? Me personally, I just never considered it. I didn't know it was a competition for real. Um, don't get me wrong. If it jumps off, I'm gonna pay attention. I just never considered it, so I was never really looking for it. But let me know what you think. Hit me in the comments about it, man. We're gonna talk soon, man. We're gonna talk a lot, man. You're gonna get a lot of videos from me this week. All right, peace.